Best in life.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and play the Sega Master System on the weekend. Legend of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse for the Sega Master System. I gotta be honest, I had no intention of talking about this game because I didn't own it. See, this game's released pretty consistently over 2 years. 1990 gave us Castle, 92 gave us Land, and 94 gave us Legend on the Game Gear. It wasn't until 1997 that Legend was ported by Tectoy to the Master System in Brazil. But it's one of those titles that tends to be expensive. In fact, last time I saw a copy on eBay that was, well, in the same condition as this one, it went for $600. And there's been a copy on it that's been at $1,200. So I had thought it'd be funny if I commented on the game and brought up the picture on eBay like, see, this guy wants $1,200 for it. There's no way I can afford that. Which, to be fair, he recently dropped the price on that one to $900. You might as well buy two at that price. But in all seriousness, I went to check the game just for this joke, and I came across this copy for $200. And I was tempted, but I can't spend $200 on a game. So I put it on my watch list because I wanted to see if it sold. I didn't, and it got relisted as an auction. And long story short, I came in at the last second, like there was 5 seconds left when I made my bid, and I won this thing. And I paid under $100. Because I've got this rule, I don't ever break $100 on a game. Though there are 2 titles I said I would do that once I got all the other ones I had, and if I had the money. And oddly enough, Legend of Illusion was one of them, and I didn't have to break my rule for it, which is great. Also, I could have got it at a better time, but also worse time. See, it's no joke that I'd never beaten Castle Illusion, and because of that, I'd never played Land, really. I sort of did. When I first got it, I started playing it. I got through about the first 4 levels, and I thought, no. I gotta beat Castle first. And that was like 2013, 2014, so I hadn't really played Land until about 3-4 weeks ago when I decided to play it and beat it. Well, then this thing lands in my lap, and now I gotta try and play through all of this in one go. So, was it worth kind of the headache to get it? Play it? Let's find out. It's nice to see him bring Once Upon a Mouse back again. So the story this time? The kingdom of King Pete has fallen on bad times, and Pete's told by his advisors that only a king can go on a quest to restore some magical water that'll bring things back to normal in the kingdom. But Pete, being the coward that he is, he doesn't want to do this. So he brings in his royal laundry boy, who just happens to be our man Mickey, and declares him an honorary king and sends him on the quest that only a king can do. Now, Mickey, realizing that this is a quest meant for a king, and he's still technically not a king, he figures he'll go find one. So he sets off to the neighboring kingdom of Castle Goofenstein. I kind of love that name. Unlike last time, you don't move Mickey around the map screen. It happens pretty much automatically. It's just there to show you what the world looks like. The next thing you notice is, holy crap, does this look great for an 8-bit game. Castle Goofenstein is a fantastic way to start a game with this mist going across this, and it lifts later on in the level. Oh, it is gorgeous. You would think this was on a more powerful system, but it's not. It's on the Master System. It's 8-bit, and it looks unreal. I mean, just look at Mickey in his blue tunic and his, like, old-timey, like, Robin Hood mountaineer hat. I mean, he looks adorable, and it works so well in this game. And I like how he's not in his traditional Mickey Mouse garb. They made it look like he belongs in this fantasy medieval kingdom.
Next thing you notice is that there's a bit of screen stretching going on, with this having been a Game Gear title and all. So if you get to the edge of the screen, be it the top or the bottom or the sides, everything kind of shifts over. It's a little distracting at first, especially if you just binge played the first 2 games. There's nothing to really worry about. You'll get used to it.
Next up, Mickey can no longer jump on enemies. This can be a good thing. You won't have any of those annoying jumps like off those ghosts in Meserabel's castle, but having just played the other game, it's also a tad bit distracting because I took a lot of damage trying to jump on guys. But in this game, as a laundry boy, Mickey uses his soap but hits his enemies with soap bubbles. Between this and Bubble Bobble and Puzzle Bobble and even Mylon's Secret Castle, it's amazing how many games have you using bubbles as weapons. How many of them are among my favorites? Mickey controls great in this game too, but getting off these little vines and stuff can be a bit tricky. Turns out you gotta hold the D-pad like diagonally up and to the right or left, whatever direction you want to go, and then hit the jump button in order to swing up that way. Not having a manual kind of threw me off, but that's alright. I mean, if I had the manual, it would have been in Portuguese. And something I need to note, a lot of these Tectoy games like this one and like Ren and Stimpy, they're direct ports of the Game Gear version, so the cutscenes are all in English, so there's not like a language barrier or anything when you're playing them. That's something worth noting too, is there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. I mean, Castle of Illusion just has one at the beginning and the end, and then Land threw some more in throughout the game. This one really goes all in, it just indulges the story, and you know, I kind of appreciate that. It really shows the evolution these games took. I mean, Mickey will meet with the Sphinx almost after every other level or every few levels, and the neat thing is how the backgrounds change. Like right now it's evening, the next time we meet him it'll be nighttime. Pretty cool little feature. They really gave attention to detail in this game. I mean, just look at Mickey when he goes in the water. He actually takes his hat off and holds it in his hat so that it doesn't float away. That's the kind of attention to detail I'm talking about. Kind of like how on Land, whenever you'd climb up the wall, he'd throw the rope over his shoulder. Here he takes off his hat. Man, the people who made these games, they really wanted to immerse you in them, and I appreciate that so much. What kind of a king says things like Garsh and refers to his subjects as little buddy? Well, I guess Mickey's not really one of his subjects, and that's something else. Pizza King, Donald's a king like last time, and also Goofy's a king. Like I said, the first level's Castle Goofenstein, and later you go to Duckingham Palace to try and find Donald. These names are like kind of crazy. I mean, it's a little kid thing, but it's great. It's a neat way to really incorporate these characters into this world. This game definitely amps up the puzzle solving elements. Like more so than the last two games, you're always pulling this block here, pushing that block there. Like here you're finding these shards of the crystal that you gotta get them so the beam of lights hit the crystal just right, and that way another platform appears for you to advance. It's nothing complicated, it's nothing crazy, but it's a neat little way to add something to the game. Look, I know I already praised the graphics of this game, but I mean, look at this. This is incredible, and on an 8-bit machine nonetheless. And here's one of the cool puzzles of this game. You see, you have to go through the patterns. The bottom of this level changes, and it changes the enemies that you're fighting. This also should come up in the boss in this level. That's the thing. If you just try and play this straight through, it's just going to loop endlessly. You hit the pattern just right, though, to get to the boss. And the boss in this level, he's one of the more challenging ones. You have to hit him when he gets to a certain spot and then hit the pieces of his body off. Once you figure out how to do it, it's not too hard. That is one thing I gotta say though, the boss fights are pretty creative in this one though, not too difficult, but the first boss you face, the one in Castle Goofenstein, for all of my fellow epilepsy sufferers out there, do not play this game without lights on because there is a lot of flashing, so much so that I won't even show that fight in this video. And speaking of the difficulty, if you're a gamer who enjoys a good challenge, this isn't the game for you. This one is really easy. Like I said, it took me a while to get through Castle, and it took me 1 or 2 playthroughs to get through Land. But Legend, well, I brought this home from the post office, popped it in my system, and made it all the way to the final boss the first time I played it. Hey, does this look familiar? Yeah, we got another musical motif, but they got rid of our piano in exchange for this thing, but it's pretty cool. It lends it to this whole different fantasy world. I really like that they still included something musical related in this, but changed it up from the piano that was in the last game. Another cool thing about this game, though, is how towards the end of it, you have this cool little, like, shooter level. And it's not a full-blown shooter, and that's probably good, because as far as shooters go, Transbot was actually better than this. But I really appreciate it. It controls fine, and don't you just love when these games throw something different at you? I mean, the other 2 games in the series were just straight-up platformers, but this one throws in this little shooter level, and it's great. The Smurfs on the Master System did something like this. They had a couple levels that were like this as well. It's something that any true gamer, especially us retro gamers, can really appreciate. If you appreciated the more obscure characters like Horace Horsecollar and the Horn King showing up in Land of Illusion, you'll love the fact that at the end of this game, the sorcerer you fight is Murloc from DuckTales the movie. That's right, I mean, that's a character that doesn't really pop up too often in these Disney games, or any of their other stuff. He just kind of showed up in that one, and there's been a few other appearances in a few games, and this is one of them. Such a fantastic use of the character. In case you were worried that there's no dragon battle in this game, unlike the last 2, oh, you're in luck. Murloc turns into a dragon, and you have to do the second half of the fight against him in his dragon form. Oh man, they really went all out with this boss encounter. And unlike the Horn King, who changes his pattern up but you're still fighting him the same way, when Murloc changes into a dragon, you have to fight him a completely different way than how you were fighting him before, so that's pretty cool. Another nice little thing about this game is this last stage in the waterfall. Guess what you have to do? Yeah, you gotta collect the rainbow gems, like, you know, the ones from Castle of Illusion. There's more than 7 this time, and it doesn't seem to really matter how many you get, but if you can find all of them, I've heard there's a slightly different ending with, like, how the credits roll, kind of like in Sonic Chaos if you get all the Chaos Emeralds. But for this playthrough, I didn't get all of them. There was, like, one that was just kind of out of my reach, but that's alright. And no, I'm not gonna play Dio this time. Besides, stay light.
no rainbow in the dark. Although there's no real continuity within these games, I mean, you can put kind of a loose one between the first and the second one, even though the second one takes place in a dream. This third one, it really has nothing to do with the others, but the fact that they began it with Once Upon a Mouse, and later on you have to find the rainbow gems again, really kind of ties it all back together. It's like it's letting you know, yeah, this is one of the Illusion games. Now, as I said, when I played this game for the first time, I made it all the way to the final boss, and yeah, the final boss is Pete. Sure, you saw that coming. They try to play it like it's a twist, but come on, it's Pete. You know Disney, you know Pete. You saw this one coming. Kings Donald and Goofy jump in to inform Pete that he can't have you arrested for impersonating a king as he wants to do, as you're now technically the king because you completed this quest, and this whole thing about like scrolls foretelling it, and you're the chosen one and all that, it's really not important. What's important is that now you have to fight Pete in order to win the game. And as easy as everything was up to this point, Pete was one of the most annoying bosses I've ever faced in a game. Yeah, forget what I said about the crab and land of illusion. Pete's got him beat. This is the point in the game where I can't even tell you how many game overs I got here, trying to figure out how to fight Pete. In fact, the first time I attempted this was actually a night I had to go to work, and I got kind of distracted at one point and didn't hit yes quick enough on the continue screen, and because of that, I would have had to play the whole game over, which I didn't have the opportunity to do. In fact, it was almost an entire week before I could try it again. In this fight, your bubbles do absolutely nothing. You've got to catch these bombs out of the air that Pete throws. If they hit the ground, you get hurt. And once you catch them, you got to make sure you throw them right away, because if you hold on to them too long, they can actually explode while you're holding them. And catching them, it just seems really finicky. To add to the frustration, Pete throws two bombs, one short and one long. And sometimes he'll only throw one before he charges at you. And you never know what he's doing. So I was trying to find some sort of a tell, like he kind of nods before he throws one, so I thought maybe he would nod twice for a long one and 3 times for a short one, but that turned out to not be the case. Not to mention, as I said, he'll charge you on occasion. Now if you hit him with the bomb, he's automatically going to charge you right then. So I thought maybe if you hit him with the bomb, it resets the pattern. Maybe he does a long one and then a short one. And if you hit him with a bomb, maybe it changes up to then being short and then long. None of these things seem to be the case with this. So I went online to GameFAQs, which is something I don't really like to do because I want to beat the game on my own, and I looked it up, and I find one walkthrough, and all it says is, you gotta hit him 12 times with the bombs. I already figured this out. In 12, you can only take 6 hits, but here he can take 12. So, much like I said the Horn King, you can't play it out where you hit him and then he hits you and you outlast him. It's not gonna work. You pretty much gotta do this one perfectly. This fight went on, and it kind of seemed strange that they'd put a boss fight this hard when the rest of the game was so easy. I mean, by this point I'd played through the game a couple of times to make it to this point, and I was breezing through the game in like 25-30 minutes and getting here, and now it's been like maybe an hour and I still hadn't figured this out. It seemed like sometimes I'd catch the bombs, but most of the times I wouldn't. I started thinking maybe there's an exact spot you have to hit to catch the bombs, because if I jumped too soon, I'd go through the bomb and not catch it. If I jumped too late, the bomb would go through me and I wouldn't catch it. It seemed like a very specific spot where you would catch the bombs, and going from that, I did indeed figure out the trick to beating Pete. Yes, there is a trick, and I'm going to teach it to you so that you don't have to go through what I did.
Alright, here's how it's done. Not filming because this is a terrible way to film, but it's the only way I can do this. I'm on a tight budget. So you position Mickey like the middle of his feet, right in this line, so it's right in between him. It's the edge of this bottom cloud, right there. Other side's the same thing. You can line it up from the life indicator. Just position him the same way. Now what's going to happen is Pete's going to bring his arm back to throw a bomb. As soon as you see his arm go back, you jump forward. He'll throw the bomb, and about right here will be the apex of where the bomb is in the air. Whether it's a long throw or a short throw, it's that exact same spot. You'll catch it every time and can hit him with the bomb. Let's check it out. Like I said, every time. And with that, we've completed the Illusion Trilogy for the Sega Master System. And it may very well be the single greatest trilogy of all time. It's not. This is the single greatest trilogy of all time. All you Lord of the Rings, Star Wars guys, you got nothing on this. But we're not talking about books and movies here. We're talking about Mickey Mouse and 8-bit video games. And as far as that's concerned, yeah. The Illusion series is phenomenal. As for which one I like best, I hate to say it because of how expensive it is, but I really dig Legend. It just takes everything that worked in the first 2 games does a little bit better. Plus, the way the game looks and feels, it's just got this undeniable charm. But all three are great, and I love them all. Still, despite my preference for Legend nowadays, I would still say if I can only offer you one, it'd be Castle. You can't go wrong with Castle of Illusion. It's a classic for a reason. But you should pick up any of these games. Pick up all of these games. Play them however you do. Emulate on a system. Go for it. Because these games are a true adventure. And that's not just an illusion.